Good evening, everybody. It's Valerie Ling here. I am heading out for a bit of a walk, and I wanted to share something that I was aware of about a video that I just watched of a physiotherapist who has been able to survive through the COVID situation and was aware of some thoughts that I was experiencing, and I thought I would come and share that with you. Oh, um, so amongst the many things that I am, being a psychologist, etc., 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 I'm also a small business owner, an unwilling small business owner who found themselves with a small business and don't even know how I landed up with a small business, but I did, right? And I'm dearly, dearly proud and pleased and love the group of people who work with me. I guess I see them not so much as my small business, as a small business. I see them really as my work family, my work colleagues, because when you are self-employed, you are by yourself. And I have to tell you that in the COVID environment, every time I've heard the word pivot, I really, really struggled with it. Every time I heard someone say, you've got to pivot, or when I'm hearing people talk about pivoting, it really peeved me to hear that word. And if I were to be honest, I would say to you that in the COVID environment as a small business owner, it has been quite frightening to see the number of businesses being swallowed up by this pandemic. And the statistics are that small businesses in Australia make a large percentage of our economy. However, very few actually do survive. And the thought that in one pandemic it would wipe out industries was a really frightening thing for me to watch and to learn that nothing about being a psychologist, nothing about being a small business owner would prepare me for what was before us. And I felt like pivoting. Every time someone said to me to pivot, I'd be like, well, you go pivot. You go pivot. You think it's so easy? Well, go ahead. Go. You do it. Um, I've come though now to a point where I'm really appreciating seeing. I'm just marveling with such, awe at how business owners have actually just taken the situation and just turn it around, not for themselves, for their team, for the people that they serve. And I have to talk to you about survivor guilt. This idea was floated to me early on when people were talking about how there are going to be some of us who are going to feel survivor guilt if other people have lost their jobs and we don't. But can I tell you that as a small business owner, there is survivor guilt in that as well. Every day when I drive or when I do get to work and I look eagerly to see which businesses are open again, you do feel a sense of deep, deep sadness that some have survived and some haven't, not for acuity or ability, but circumstances, just circumstances. And you do feel a sense of why me? Why have we been one of the industries that haven't really been hit? There are some industries that are doing well. And you do feel that, and you do have to recognize that that is, I think a normal reaction and a difficult one. And so one of the things that I figured out about the survivor guilt was there needs to be a way for us to reinvest that in a couple of ways. It's getting very, very dark, so I'm going to speak really quickly. Number one is, as a small business owner, investing in other businesses right now, really investing. Where can we actually support other business owners in ways that we may never have even thought of before? Whenever you look at something in your business, think of whether there is another small business owner that you can get that from instead of where you're normally getting it. Second of all is, I suppose, to remember that there's a way for us to also encourage those business owners around us who are doing it tough right now, and just inquiring into how they are going, not just their business, because that's the first thing, the instinct is has business, but to inquire actually into how they are going, and making it as human as possible in interaction and finding ways to do that. And the third thing is, I suppose, just being able to celebrate the wins that every small business is putting into place right now, the little steps in small ways to just make it through COVID-19. So a couple of thoughts for me. I didn't really prepare very much. I'm out of the door going for a walk, but I just wanted to authentically just say that small business survivor guilt, I think, is a real thing. It's there, and you need to talk about it if it's there. You don't need to actually feel like that's something you've got to be ashamed of, because this pandemic was indiscriminate. Well, it was indiscriminate in that you couldn't predict the time, but it certainly has been discriminate in terms of the businesses that have survived and that haven't. All right, I'll catch you later.